Hello everyone, KirbyVolt here once again, and welcome back to Year in Review. This time we are in one of my 3 picks for Game of the Year. I have with me my good friend Powerman once again.
Hello everyone.
And we're going to be discussing the game that took everything by storm, starting back in 2014 was first introduced, Splatoon.
I knew this was going to be a thing I wanted as soon as I saw it at E3.
Oh my goodness, yes. It was an original IP that had a really unique premise to it, and ever since it got released, it was just as good as I thought it was going to be, and it's continually gotten much better over time. It's just been a fun game.
It is the one game this year I've been playing for, it's 2 games, but that one doesn't count, that I've been playing since it came out.
Yeah.
I will load this up any chance I get.
Mm-hmm. There's just a lot of nice replay value to it, just partially because of the online mechanic of it, but just because the gameplay itself is just super fun, it's super simple to pick up, and it's just a lot of fun just either play the single-player mode or the main multiplayer and beat the crap out of people if you are just, doing a turf war or doing one of the ranked type of matches.
I will say, while it has a good single player, you definitely want to get this for the multiplayer.
That's very true. The single player, I like the single player a lot. It's a good teaching mechanic for a lot of stuff you can do in multiplayer, but it's pretty short, so the main meat of the game is the multiplayer. But the single player is a nice, fun diversion for if you need to do something else or if the servers are down.
It's short, simple, it doesn't offend me in any way, it's just, it's not that challenging, sadly.
Mm-hmm. Well, unless you have the amiibo, and then you can do some challenges.
Yep.
I think, let's get that out of the way really quick. The main gripe of this game is the amiibo interactivity.
There's an amiibo station, but they completely miss the point of amiibos by having it only work with their own amiibos.
Yeah, and what you get from it are just extra challenges that let you just do some extra missions in single player to unlock some extra gear that, in all honesty, This could have just been a kiosk that was, hey, want some quick DLC missions, as opposed to go buy figures that are sometimes very hard to find.
Yeah. This ones haven't been too hard to find, luckily, but yeah.
And maybe they'll update at some point, that'll be nice, but other than that, the amiibo themselves are very adorable and very cool looking, but their use in-game has not been as great as it could have been, but that's just a minor thing over the overall total game.
With that out of the way, want to talk about the multiplayer? Because I want to talk about the multiplayer.
Alright, where do you want to start?
Well, you'll start with, until you reach level 10, you won't have ranked matches, so it'll just be turf war. Which is,
right.
I understand, one of your favorite modes. It's probably my least favorite mode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just, it doesn't have that competitive edge. You just kind of spray turf and see if you won in the end.
Okay.
It doesn't quite have that edge of my seatness that the rank does.
Okay, I guess for me, Turf War, I just like the idea because it's something that isn't focused, like a lot of shooting games are focused on killing other players, and in ranked mode, you kind of need to do more of that. Turf War, you can just go, I'm gonna go over here and not care, and I kind of like that ability of it, because it does feel a lot more free compared to a lot of other shooter-type games, so you can kind of just do whatever you want. I mean, sometimes you might get splatted, but usually you'll be okay. Yeah, Turf War probably. I do like some of the ranked modes. Turf War I definitely like better than one of the ranked modes.
Best not be talking about splat zones.
But Turf War as the main gameplay mechanic, I think it's pretty fun. I think its only minor flaw is that you can't just make your own team and go fight Turf War. That's where ranked has it beat.
It works as a non-ranked thing because it's just the most universally get-intoable one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm of the competitive nature, so I naturally like the ranked ones better, but yeah, it's good fun for messing around.
Yeah. And I guess getting into the ranked modes then. Ranked mode initially started out with just one type of mode. I think this is kind of the weird thing about it is that as we're discussing it right now, There might still be more things that come for it along the way. When the game first came out, ranked mode wasn't even a thing. It didn't become available until a little bit later. And when ranked mode did come out, it was only one type of mode, which was Splat Zones, which was basically you spray a point and you guard it for a little bit until you win.
Yeah, if you look on reviews, you'll see that they're kind of low despite its Game of the Year status. And that's because they have just been releasing content for free constantly since it came out.
So many more new maps, a lot of new gear, and 2 new other modes to ranked. One mode being the tower defense, which is pretty fun, the tower control, moving the tower. And probably my personal favorite, the Rainmaker, which is basically capture the flag, except with a really powerful weapon.
I like to describe it more as a Splatoon football. Gotta get the ball and take it to the other team's side.
Okay, well, next time we play, I'll put my football helmet on.
Ah, man. But yeah, go ahead, I'm trying to catch my train of thought here.
Oh, that's alright. And so I think the nice thing about that kind of jumping from that is that there's also a bunch of gear that you can pick up. There's a lot of different weapon types, and we'll discuss weapon types in a little bit, but there's also different gear you can customize. You can have a different type of headset, you can have a different type of shirt, a different type of shoes, and those all help with different little stats that you can level these gear up and get more stats for. And eventually, you can actually unlock the ability to either put more slots on them or to re-roll abilities so you can get what you want, which is pretty neat.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
3 of the abilities are random. The main ability, which is the most powerful of them, is always set, and I really like that mix of random but preset.
Mm-hmm. And the way to re-roll them is that's a bit of a thing as well, but we'll get into explaining that. But before we get to that, let's discuss the weapons, because there's a lot of different weapons, and I kind of really like how they set it up as far as how the weapon types work. And since we're discussing it right now, we have 2 new weapon types that also appeared recently as well.
Talk about the splat lane in the bucket?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Here's the thing of why I like ranked modes better than Turf War, is that they put every weapon to use, and you can find a use for everything. The, Splat Zones is basically going to be what covers the most ink. Aerospray and splat lanes and stuff. Here, everything, right down to snipers, can be used and effectively.
Yeah.
So whatever your playstyle is, you'll find something fun to build for it.
Yeah, so there's 5 main weapon types, at least currently. There is the regular splatter shot type weapons, which are basically just kind of guns that you can just kind of shoot. They have a lot of variety between them, so that's a kind of a very broad one. Then you have the splat shots, which are sniper-like weapons. Those are pretty fun to use, especially if you get really good with them.
You have to charge it up, and basically it'll insta-kill anything it hits, but it's a very precise weapon. As for ink trail, it leaves just a straight line of ink, so you can just kind of highway yourself across there.
Third type is initially considered the most overpowered weapon until people realized that was silly. The roller, which is a very fun-looking weapon, but can be kind of hard to use.
It is the equivalent of a melee weapon till you get into paintbrushes. Do you want to count paintbrushes as their own kind?
I guess so. I guess it's six weapons types. 6.
It still uses like the roller animation for winning, but it's completely different ballpark.
As far as playstyle, yeah. The other 2 types that we mentioned were the Slosher, which is a bucket, which they haven't released a lot of them yet, but that one's just kind of fun, because you're just constantly hitting the fire button to throw paint everywhere.
It's a bucket. It's a bucket full of paint, and you throw it at people.
And then, of course, I think your favorite weapon, the Splatling?
Ah, yes, the splat lane. It is a chain gun you charge up, and then it just rapid fire unleashes until it runs out of its charge.
And it's a very fun thing to use if you learn how to use it properly.
It is a surprisingly long-range weapon. That's the part people don't expect.
Oh, yeah, and very powerful, too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. So, in regards to what I brought up earlier with the you can re-roll abilities on your gear. That brings us to another thing that kind of makes this game a thing you keep going back to play, is that almost like 2 times a month they'll have these events what are called Splatfests.
Yes, Splatfests, it puts the people on 2 sides. They vote between a topic like what do you roast over a fire, or cats versus dogs. And then
Pineapple on pizza.
And then whoever comes out on top in the end, both in popularity and in victories, will win it. And if you win, you get sea snails, which let you reroll abilities for just the cost of the sea snail.
And also, just playing for long enough, you can actually rank up to a title during the Splatfest, and if you get a higher title, that will give you more snails as well, so that can allow you to reroll a lot of abilities. And what's really cool about it is when this Splatfest thing is going on, it's 24-hour events, usually from a Friday to a Saturday, is that the entire, they only have a certain amount of maps, they only have 3 maps there through the entire day, but the entire area gets a nice makeover. It becomes a really cool nighttime fireworks festival, and it's really cool to see a lot of those stages with different lighting and different effects all over them.
I think my favorite part is all the ink becomes neon.
Oh, yeah. And what's really cool is because when you're making the Miiverse thing, I think that's another thing to bring up, is the Miiverse interactivity in this game is freaking amazing. Super good use of Miiverse, and really good filtering, too.
Everywhere you go, Miiverse is great in this, because it's just you'll find Miiverse posts as graffiti on walls, you'll find people in the lobby all have their own Miiverse, and everyone puts effort into drawing, and that's great to see.
I'm not sure if that's because they're filtering it, or if it's just because it's popular or whatnot, so that's kind of pretty neat. And they also can show up in, billboards and stuff, which makes it really fun.
I think it's just because they put such a great focus on Miiverse. If you get a bunch of yes, your post will show up more, it'll show up in gameplay and levels, and, that's a good motivation for artists to put effort in.
Yeah. And then, of course, during the Splatfest, since you can have Splatfest posts that discuss one of your teams, those will show up on, big neon signs in the background. There's a ton of them, and it's just really fun to see that, all the little inklings dancing and everything.
Oh, yeah. The entire lobby becomes one huge night party, and, there are neon signs of everything.
Yeah. It's just a ton of fun. This is definitely one of my picks for Game of the Year, just because there's a lot of fun to it. I'm still getting friends that are starting to play it, and it's always fun to kind of teach them the ropes or just have fun with them as they're doing stuff and pick out different stages, learn different things. And one thing I still really, really want to do is just get a group of people together and try to do a private match and try to paint the entire map. Gonna do it. Trying to think of anything else to say on it. I mean, there's a few things single-player-wise that's kind of funny to note that you can pick up from some of the secret stuff, but yeah, that stuff's pretty cute, but if you don't really care for it, the multiplayer is kind of the main meat of the game anyway.
The single-player holds... one thing we haven't touched on is that graphically it's just a really good-looking game.
Oh, definitely.
It's got a ton of personality in it, and it runs at 60 frames per second everywhere except the main lobby.
Really? Not in the main lobby?
Main lobby, all the inklings they populate it with, it drops a bit, but you don't really care all that much because it's not gameplay.
Oh, okay, fair enough. And yeah, I think... Oh yeah, this got I keep thinking of other things. One thing I'm just final boss of the single player mode is pretty cool. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. The single player has its personality. The bosses are fun, the final boss especially, and all the little collectibles. Go out of your way to get the collectibles, because those are neat.
Yeah, they give you some fun little history about things. I think also, weapons we didn't discuss, I forgot about this, is that there's also the bomb sub you have, and the special weapon you have as well.
The sub-weapons and all that. Yeah.
And those add, a huge amount of diversity to what you do as far as you play.
Yeah, what you play as isn't necessarily your primary weapon, too. You can also decide based off of what secondaries those weapons can get. You'll have grenade, sticky grenade, you'll have a Bombachu-style thing. There's a disruptor. My favorite, the splash wall, which will just throw up a wall that will absorb shots for a while.
Waiting for that weapon to have a bomb rush or splash wall?
Yep. I never thought they would, but they put a bomb rush on those Bombachu things, and that makes matches crazy.
Yeah. I think the weapon I currently run, it's a Splash-O-Matic, and I like it because it's pretty fast and it has pretty decent damage, but it also has the sticky bombs, and those suction bombs are super good. I love those things. And the special it has, which you get specials by inking enough turf, usually about like 200 points or so, and then that charges up, and then you can just let them rip. And the special I have for mine right now is the bomb rush of sticky bombs, and that's just fun because you can just place them wherever.
Yeah, the super weapons feel like a really fun balance. Like, if one's not as good, it'll probably charge up super fast.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, yeah.
Like the Aerospray AG, or I think AG? Yeah, the gold one. It's super weak, but it's really fast and good at inking turf. The way to make up for like its weakness is that its super weapon is an ink strike, where you can just tap on the map and just have an ink strike come down and cover a lot more turf or kill people, possibly.
And because it's so good at covering turf, you'll get that supercharged in no time.
Yeah. Then, of course, there's like the Kraken, where you actually turn into a giant Kraken and just plow over people.
That one's a fun one. Some people get mad over how good it can be, but I don't think it's that bad. The balance feels really good in this game.
Yeah, and they keep trying to balance things out with every new update they do.
Yeah, little subtle changes over time.
I think the Kraken's actually gotten nerfed a little bit because it's actually very easy now to kind of shoot at it and kind of deflect it away from you so you can get it further away from it before it gets up to you.
The one that really got buffed is the Killer Whale. That one, when it originally started, it lasted for a short time. Now it just lasts forever and it can lock people down.
Oh, yeah, that's...
Not literally forever,
scary.
but yeah.
And I'm sure there's going to be more things to come to Splatoon, hopefully, as the 2016 progresses, because it's been a huge hit for Nintendo, and honestly, I don't blame them. This has been a fantastic game of theirs. Very surprised they did not try to nominate it for Game of the Year for whatever reason, because I definitely would have preferred... I definitely say it's Game of the Year, but that's just me.
They gave it Shooter Game of the Year, which is, it beat Black Ops, it beat, Halo, it beat everything, just because of how fresh it is.
Stay fresh.
I was gonna use that as my last line for this.
Alright, but Splatoon, yeah, if you have a Wii U or you don't have a Wii U, Splatoon is the must-have game for a Wii U. Super good, really amazing. One of my 3 picks for Game of the Year, because I decided to cheat this year and just go with 3 games, because I don't care. So, yeah, thank you again, PowerMap, for joining me to discuss this awesome game. I'm sure we'll be playing it a lot more in times to come.
But we'll never know what your Gamist of the Year award is now.
My Gamist?
You don't... You can't pick 3, you need one to stand out.
No.
Well, this one's my Game of the Year.
Fair enough, fair enough. Alright, thanks again for joining me.
Alright, I'll see you around.
Alright, and we'll see you all in the next one. Until then, ciao. And stay fresh.